Are we working? Are we live? And the volume is working? And everything is as it should be? Finally. Okay. Excuse me. So, first of all, hello, everyone. And this is a live stream without actually going live. My connection is slightly fucky due to I live in the most horrible swamp town ever. And it's raining. And we have awful internet out here where I live. So the wind blows too hard and the internet connection gets a little shitty. So if that's the case, I apologize. I will try to talk as slow and as soothing as possible, just in case the connection is too fucked up and something goes wrong. This is going to be probably a bit of a lengthy video due to a lot of explaining, a lot of discussion. The reason that I did this whole new setup instead of using my phone or my other camera, the GoPro, like I usually do, is because I do believe that this way will allow me to record a lot longer without too many problems, hopefully. While my other recording devices usually seem to only let me go for about 30 minutes or so, especially my phone. And I have not been able to post the content that I originally planned on posting. And my schedule has been a little off and not what I want it to be. But that is because, for those of you who are subscribed to my Patreon, you are not new, so you should know that my channel, my content, while it is also about art and cosplay, sorry, slight distraction, while it is also about art and cosplay, it is mostly about my tarot reading, my spiritual journey, my all of this, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and use the term witchcraft because that's the term that I wanted to use. That's the term of what it is. And while some people, to an extent, which is why I probably have a little bit of an issue using it, I come from a very small-minded time, a very small-minded place where things like this and people like me are viewed as strange at the least, right? And for the most part, most people tend to think that I'm crazy, that what I do is evil, demonic, yada, yada, yada. Especially when you grow up in the Bible Belt, like I have. But I assure you that's not the case. That's not the way that this works. That's not what I practice. That's not what this is. So those of you who have subscribed are pretty much well aware of what I do and what I am wishing to teach. And I have been struggling with making posts, making readings, creating the content that I wish to create. And that is because I have not been completely open to the things that I need to be open to. In order for me to you about what I do, and I work with what I work with and how I do what I do, and basically the things that I've learned along the path that I'm on. In order for me to teach you these things, discuss with you these things, you know, and share these things with you, I have to be completely open and unashamed and slightly secretive level, not just for safety reasons, but just for, you know, sanctity, not necessarily secrecy for a negative manner, but just for my own personal, you know, business. I usually tend to keep a lot of things private, but there are certain parts of my journey and of my path and of the lessons that I wish to teach that I'm not allowed to be private about if I want to do this correctly. I have been, and I'm sure that those of you who have been watching for a while I've been building this from the ground up, those of you who have seen my older YouTube videos, because this has only been going on for about the past year, older YouTube videos, my other readings, my vibe is probably a little bit different now than what it usually is, at least by a little bit. And that is because I have been trying to create this content for you, make these readings, create these lessons and these sessions on astrology, the metaphysical, witchcraft, tarot, these sort of things. And I keep coming into face-to-face with problems. I keep coming face-to-face with problems. And it's because mostly I haven't been sharing I'm trying to find the correct words to use because I don't want to sound like I'm in my ego, because that's not the case and that's not the intention. But I haven't been sharing my messages from the divine with you properly and without shame and without fear. I have been holding back a little bit because I put myself in this toxic energy of worrying too much about what people think, right? So I don't want people thinking crazy things about me, so I kind of keep a lot of things under wraps and don't talk about it much. And it blocks me from being able to share the whole message that I meant to share. I have been too wrapped up in insecurity and exhaustion. I have been too wrapped up in anxiety and my nerves. Public speaking has always been a little bit of something that freaks me out. And I haven't necessarily had the self-esteem to move forward with this like I'm supposed to. But I've been through a lot of things, metaphysical wise, since Halloween. As most of you know, some of you may know, if you've been paying attention to my lessons and my teachings and my posts and my pretty much just talking about it. It's more just talking about what I learn as I learn it more than it is lessons and teachings. That's not necessarily what I mean. Um, those aren't the words that I'm exactly trying to use, right? So, but you know what I mean. Um, so this place to go with this is, my name is Kaylee Apple. I am a psychic medium and I am a witch, and I practice heavily in witchcraft. People like me still sometimes register to be in danger because of what we are. I have to be careful of who I let in and around my home for extra reasons other than, the average safety reasons for that. Like, I have to worry about letting my landlord come in or around my home because I don't know how he would react to seeing witchcraft around the place, right? That could put me at risk of losing my home. You never know. It could cause people to want to cause me harm, want to cause me problems. So to share things like that can be pretty nerve-wracking. um, but I am a witch. I am a psychic medium. And what this means is that I am capable of communicating with other dimensions, other beings from other dimensions. This includes spirits and ghosts, those who have passed on, so to speak. This includes other entities, such as whatever you would want to call them, angels, metaphysical beings, and other dimensional beings, whatever it may be. I have the ability to connect and channel messages through them to you. And I first started discovering that I had this ability when I was around 19 years old. There were always signs and symptoms, so to speak, of it as I grew up, like my whole life, since I was a baby on. My mom could tell you stories, but I really started figuring it out and taking that path around the age of 18, 19, around when I started college. It's been an up and down path. Um, as a lot of you may know, and some of you may not know this, I don't know all of my subscribers actually. I was in a very abusive marriage and went through a lot of trauma throughout my life. The empath that draws in the narcissist energy goes. That's pretty much been my vibe my whole life. And I married a very dangerous person. And I won't dabble too much or talk too much about the negatives. But during this time, I thought that I had traveled away from my past. Now, before I dive too deep into that, what I want to make sure that I cover is what I do is not religious. It is not religion based. It is not religiously felt. It is not religion. It is not religious practice. It's spiritual. And there's a very big difference. Now, religion is something that humans took spirituality, they took pieces of spirituality and made it their own. And in a lot of different ways, humans managed to take spirituality and make it something dirty. And that something dirty is religion. What I practice is not religion. It is working with myself, my own inner being, to create the healthy and safe and positive environment that I need and want, to manifest what I need and want, to keep my life happy and positive and safe. It is something that keeps me protected. And if you need an example on that, I have almost died many times in my life. Car accidents, sickness and illnesses. My ex-husband on multiple occasions. And it's always been something that I've managed to make it through. And I've always managed to survive. And I've always managed to be protected. And while married to my ex-husband, I went through this. I won't go too far into it, too much into it. It's negativity that I don't want in my teachings. But I went through a lot of confusion and a lot of issues because my ex-husband was an atheist. And he didn't have any belief in spirituality whatsoever because he did not know the difference between spirituality and religion. And he pushed me down that path with him as well. And I've walked a long journey. Let's just say that. And I have said very horrible things about religion that I still agree with, but on a different level, on a more mature level, if that makes any sense. Spirituality, on the other hand, while on this atheism path, which there's nothing wrong with. I'm not saying anything bad about any of this kind of stuff. I'm just saying that wasn't the way for me. The things that I said about spirituality on that path, I did not know then what I know now, basically. And I said I was very negative. I was very negative and very toxic. I was in a very negative and toxic environment at the time. And now I've come to realize that I am protected by angels. And I am a follower. Doesn't want me to call it that. Not a follower, but learning from, protected by, guided by Archangel Michael in particular. And he is the one who is going to help me most of the time with my channeling and my readings. And he is the one who's going to be teaching you the things that you learn. He's just going to be doing it through me. I'm like a speaker box or a walkie-talkie. Okay? Kind of think of it that way. And I know that this sounds crazy to some people. Some people will hear this kind of thing and be like, oh my God, she's out of her mind. She's crazy. This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Right? But if that's how you feel about things, that just means that this is not the channel for you, that this is not the place for you, and that I am not the reader for you. You subscribe to my Patreon for this type of content along with the other content that I post. Now, let's travel from that little subject onto a little side note of that. I do post on my Patreon news. I post cosplay news, and I post like artistic nudes, posing, nudes. Just simple vanilla nudes. With, sometimes I'm dressed from Dragon Ball Z with her tits out, right? And I do that stuff for fun, and I do it every now and again, but I don't do it very often. It's not something that happens a lot. That's just a sometimes for my Patreon. So if you subscribe to my Patreon for mostly that type of content, you're going to be disappointed. And I am not here to build a business on showing my tits. That's just not the way it is here. And I will do that, every now and again for fun and for, who doesn't like to see a good pair of tits every now and again? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, that's not the main focus of the type of content that I post. So if that's what you're mostly looking for, this is no place for you. You can subscribe or pay every now and again, over and over, if you would like to see when I do share those types of posts from witchcraft and tarot content. This is something that I would like to start doing one day full time. But for now, I have to find time to squeeze it in the middle of being a mom, being a housekeeper, being, a maid. And we seem to be having difficulty. Is it better? Okay. I have a little piece of paper here that says, please hold. The connection fixes itself. And I was going to get that out and hold it up for you just in case. But we seem to be okay now, I think. But anyway, as I was saying, we are mostly all about witchcraft, tarot, astrology, that type of content here. That's what I'm looking to share, mostly. And I would like to start doing this full time. That's what I was talking about. This is something that I would like to start doing full time. And teaching full time, making the most, of a living off of full time. but we're not quite at that point yet. While I fix my music, but we're not quite there yet. So I have to find time to do this in the middle of being a mom, a single mom, completely single. Like, I do all of it, all by myself. Paying, doing what pays, keeping up with what pays the bills, my normal job. Housekeeper, a maid, a teacher. I do all kinds of things. And sometimes it gets in the way of my ability to post things the way that I would like. And also, I have experienced a lot of issues. For example, the post that I wanted to share regarding Sagittarius, Capricorn, Gemini, and Taurus, I recorded it. I had it ready to go. I posted it. What's happening? Oh, there we go. I posted it and didn't bother to share it with you. I can always share the link for you if you would like, but it would be useless because the video has no volume. And I sat there and recorded like a 45-minute long reading that the volume didn't work. And that's just one example. I lose my devices. Being a psychic medium and a witch that connects with the other side the way that I do, I have been constantly surrounded by spirits and ghosts and entities, ETs, extraterrestrials, my entire life. And they're attached to me and they cause energy problems. They cause electronics to shut down and break. They made one of my phones pretty much literally explode. Like the back of it exploded. The battery exploded off of it. Like, so my phone, one of my phones at one point actually had the back with the battery like swell up and blow off of it, crack and shatter like glass, just the back of it, and blow off of it. And that was a point during a connection, a channeling, a reading, an intense, very intense connection to the other side. And they tend to do things like that. They will use electronics and other devices for energy source to communicate and to connect, and it will cause those devices to break. I've had problems with that. I've had problems with connection to the internet. I've had problems and problems that consistently happen during a lot of readings and videos and content that I plan to make or try to make or do make and can't share. And this happens because I'm not delivering the message properly. And I'm not doing something within that message delivery that is as it should be. Or it's not time for that message to be shared. I shouldn't be sharing it. It was channeled to me for only me to hear. So, given that fact, it has put me in a position to have to work very hard to process and put together appropriate readings and videos and discussions for you guys. And what they want me to do is channel a message and connect for you guys and see where we go with this. To help me start teaching lessons for you about manifesting and working on the spiritual path and the spiritual journey. And like I mentioned previously, what a lot of you may or may not know is how I was in a very abusive marriage. And I've pretty much had to rebuild from the ground up since I left my ex-husband. So I put in, don't take this the wrong way, I put in a lot of work for what I work hard. And I've worked very hard to get where I am, to build back up, to take care of my son, to take care of myself. And I'm really not diminishing or belittling all the hard work that I put in to be where I am now. Because I used to live in a hole in the ground, pretty much. My ex-husband was a drug addict and was very abusive. And he had us living in a very bad place. Our home was tore apart. There were no walls. There were no floors. We had no food. We had no safe place to sleep. We had busted windows. We had nothing. We lived in nothing. And we actually would have probably been safer living in nothing than where we did live. And I got us out of there, and now I have a beautiful home. And while it's not, anything big or fancy or incredibly expensive, it's still a beautiful home, a safe home, a comfortable home. And my son and I have everything we could ever need and want and more. And I did this with a beautiful support system. It's a small support system, but a good one, strong one nonetheless. And by myself. I had a support system through it all of 2 people and myself. And I put a lot of hard work into what I did to rebuild from the ground up. But I also manifested everything that I have. And what a lot of people don't realize is manifestation in witchcraft does not work like, oh, I did a spell, so now I'm just going to get it. The universe is just going to hand it to me. I did a spell that says I want $1 million, so now the universe is just going to put $1 million in my hand. That's not how it works. And a lot of people seem to think so, right? Oh, why don't you just cast a spell and just make it happen? And while that is true, that's also not how it works. The universe is not going to just put $1 million in your hand. The universe is going to then hand you the tools and the light up the path that you need to go get yourself $1 million. Does that make sense? So you manifest, I want to be rich. I want to have $1 million. And you'll start seeing changes in your life. And you might even start seeing tower moments. I'm seeing the tarot card, the tower. And we discussed tower moments in my previous discussion and my previous videos. And you can go find those on my Patreon if you haven't seen them yet. But we did discuss tower moments. You will possibly start even having tower moments. Like, oh, I did this spell that was supposed to give me $1 million, and now all of a sudden my whole life is falling apart. I lost my job, and I don't have any money. And that's because the spell you did to manifest all that money for you is now crumbling down that tower that you live in so you can start building a new one. And in this tower, you'll have $1 million. So they just kind of shine a lantern towards the way. Like, hey, if you take this route, things will start happening that will help lead you to what you're wanting, what you're manifesting. And you have to, that's where free will comes in. And you have to make the choices. You have to be able to be in touch with your instincts, and your choices have to be correct. And, you know, say you're going along the path, going towards your $1 million, going towards your $1 million. You get to a fork in the road, and you can go left or right, left or right. And the correct answer, the fast route, is to the right. But you fuck up and go left. You think you're supposed to go left. There is that possibility during that left way when you could have just went right and gotten, you know, straight to wherever it was you were going. You chose left, and now you have to go through like a really dark cave or a bush of, you know, a big briar of thorns, or, you know, something difficult blocks the way, and the left path was the most complicated. That doesn't mean that you won't still make it to your destination of what you manifested. It just means that you chose the more difficult route. And there's always that possibility that while you took that more difficult route, that you gave up. Oh, I don't want to walk through that, a whole bunch of pile of thorns. I don't want to go through that dark cave. Then you might not reach your destination of what you manifest. Or that really dark cave was terrifying and horrible, and I'm hungry and I'm tired and I'm pissed off. So I end up continuing to go the wrong way, and I get lost. Okay? That can happen. These are just, I'm trying to put it in examples in the best way that I can to make it make sense. We'll go into more details, and I'll find better ways to word it. I promise. But that's how manifestation tends to work. That's how the spiritual journey tends to work. Whenever you open yourself up to this kind of stuff, you are opening yourself up to sign a contract with the 5-dimensional realm, to open your third eye and start exercising your instincts and your intuition and your spirituality, your connection to spirituality, your connection to them, the 5D realm. And doing what I do, because human beings as a whole, we all have this ability. We all have these abilities that we can unlock. Just some of us are farther away from it than others. And when you're connected to the 5-dimensional realm, like I am, or when you want to be, and you want to unlock it and you want to get there, it kind of becomes a way of, it really sounds fucked up to say it that way, but it's not that bad. There's really no turning back. Okay? And that's not to say that if you decide to opt out and you decide that you don't want to do any of this stuff anymore, that you're going to live a miserable life, or that you're going to be a failure, or nothing good will ever come to you ever again. That's not what that means. It just means that if you want to continue ascending on this level, at this level, you want to strengthen your ability instead of weaken it, your ability to, as a true empath, not just, and when I say true empath, what I mean is there are a lot of people out there that will call themselves an empath, and in a way they are. They're able to they're able to feel empathy. Okay? That's all that is. If you are not connected to the divine in a way that you can feel and work with people's energy and aura in a non-physical or 5-dimensional physical level, work with another person's aura and feel another person's mood and feelings and emotions and deepest pain. If you're not able to pull that out, see it as an actual color or energy, and work with it in the five dimensional realm, metaphysically, you're not an empath, a true empath. Being able to feel and connect to another person's emotions and feelings, when someone's feeling sad, when someone's feeling happy, when someone's and you're able to pick up on that vibe, that's just empathy. And all humans have the capability of empathy, just there's some humans, sociopaths and things like that, that don't understand empathy. But then there are your average humans, your basic humans, good-hearted, kind-hearted humans that feel kind-hearted empathy. And some of them feel it on a spectrum higher than others. And they start to reach the level of empath. And then when you become a true empath and you unlock those abilities to the point that you can like mold and work with those emotions, you're like Jasper Cullen from Twilight. Then you've unlocked your third eye, you've unlocked your spiritual journey, you've unlocked your spiritual path, and you've unlocked your empathetic powers. Your powers as an empath, as a spiritual being. And there's just a difference. And okay, let me make sure I go everywhere I wanted to go with this. Usually what unlocks these types of powers, or hints towards these types of powers, or pushes you towards this type of journey, is trauma. Different forms of trauma unlock different forms of metaphysical existence in others. And after I left my ex-husband, it was like a rock bottom situation. I had nothing. And it was a point of, I have to survive. It was a point of working with survival. Had to make sure that I do whatever it takes to survive. And You know, there's prayer and there's manifestation. And prayer and manifestation can go go together. They can be, you know, one part of the other. Prayer can be a part of manifesting. Prayer can manifest. Prayer, you know, it's kind of it's part of it, but it's connecting to it spiritually and not religiously. Okay? Hopefully this makes sense. And I had finally reached the point where it was, please, I need something. The universe needs to send something. Please send me something. Where do I go? What do I do? I'm at rock bottom. I don't know where to even start. And then next thing I know, here I am doing this. And I have all of this. And it's sort of an autopilot type feeling sometimes. But I was given the tools. I was given the path. I was given, here, if you do this, you'll get this. If you do this, you'll get this. If you do this, you'll get this. And then eventually you'll be up there where you want to be. And I had to do, and then there's times where it gets really fucking hard and really fucking painful, and there's shadow work and having to look deep within yourself and having to pull out all of your own yucky parts and face them so you can clean them out and clear them out so you can connect with the divine and communicate with the divine. And it's not to say that it makes you a healed or perfect being. It's not like, I don't want to say this in a way that it sounds offensive. It's not meant to be offensive. But it's not like in the Christian religion where you need God to cleanse you and make you good. That's not how this works. Whether it be God or the universe or a higher power, higher being, it's energy. It's that energy. It's whatever it is you're praying to. It's about spirituality, not religion. Religion is something that is separated, amongst all different cultures of people, while spirituality is for all of them. It's what they all have in common. And it's when you take the religion out of it that it becomes pure. And humans have negative and positive energies. There's the sun card and there's the devil card. There's good and bad, but just because something's bad doesn't mean that it can't become good. And just because something's good doesn't mean that it can't become bad. And it's all a spectrum, and it's all energy, and it's all vibration. And all humans have the ability to fall into toxic devil vibration. These are traumas causing drug addiction, causing drinking problems, causing issues with lying, causing anxieties and depressions and low self-esteem and codependency and all of these different forms of toxicity. And none of them on that spectrum mean that someone is doomed, or that someone is a demon, or that someone is evil. We as human beings, it's natural to fall into devil energies, into toxic energies. Part of my issue with sharing my content, sharing my videos, sharing these kinds of things with you has been partly because of toxic devil energy. Now, what I mean by that is my insecurities, my low self-esteem and worrying too much about what other people think, my depression and anxiety, those things causing me to want to sit around and do nothing, causing me to be too afraid to come on here and speak, causing me to get too nervous and causing me to share the wrong message or causing me to say something that's more negative than helpful. My behaviors that I've experienced in the past regarding jealousy, regarding low self-esteem, regarding anger, regarding ego. All human beings have these things. And we all just have to work towards cleansing them and clearing them out, right? And sometimes we fall back into them. Sometimes we take 10 steps forward, 4 steps back, 10 steps back, 5 steps forward, 6 steps back. It's up and down a flight of stairs, right? Imagine someone running up and down, they go up 3 stairs, back 3 stairs, up 4 stairs, back 2, up 5, back 2 more, It's a lot of work. And you'll do shadow work. You'll bring out toxic energies. You'll fall back into those toxic energies. You'll have to start back over again. It's a process. And that's what I'm hoping to always be able to do readings for you for, and able to help guide you with and help teach you and help share my experiences and hear about your experiences and help us push each other through the spiritual journey. Or, I get that too. I pick up a vibe of, there's some people who subscribe and stuff just because they're interested and they don't want to take part in taking the spiritual path and unlocking or opening their third eye personally for themselves. Because I'm going to be honest, it's not for everyone. And it's very hard. And it's very painful. Physically, mentally, spiritually. It's difficult. And it's not a path for everyone. But there are some people who are just strictly curious. And eager and willing to learn. Just for the knowledge. And that's fine too. And that's what I want to grow from. That's what I want to learn with and teach you and talk about and be a part of. That's the community that I want to help build with. So, oh my God. Okay, it's already started. I didn't do this on purpose. I've been talking for almost an hour. I ended this with, what did I just say? As part of the community that I want to be in, the witchcraft community, the spiritual community, the third eye community, the psychic medium, 5D astrology community. And the card at the bottom of this deck, oh my God, and I just did this, and it's both of them. Community and family. Is that not what? So, when I do that kind of stuff, it is not to be in my ego. And it's never planned. And it's involuntary movements. It's things that just happen. It's never on purpose. This is just how it goes. But that's clarification that the spiritual connection has been made. I'm channeling. I'm connecting to the other side. And that's a part of it, right? So you'll see me do that a lot. You'll see me call things out, predict things, and it's part of it. And, if you're someone who's a negative Nancy and who is like, oh, this is such bullshit, or, oh, whatever. If you're one of those people, this is just not the place for you, and I would like for you to fuck off. It's that simple. Don't be here. So, anyway. Uh-oh. Hopefully you guys can chill for a minute. My son is trying to wake up. Okay, so someone wanted to sleep in mommy's bed tonight. Sorry, I keep looking at my YouTube page instead of the camera. Sorry, that's not cool. I'm just trying to make sure that the volume is working and that the video is working. You know, okay. We got some smelly good apple pumpkin candle that I've put a few herbs and witchy poo such and such in. So let's light a candle, and I am going to get my sage. I'm going to get my sage and an incense, okay? So one quick second, and I will be right back. This is live without being live, so I can't pause it, but I will be back really quick. Okay, so I want to try and not make this too incredibly long. It's already been an hour, but I have to release control. I have to let them have control and not try to be in control myself. But I do have private readings that I still need to finish and send. So, and I didn't want to be up super late, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. Oh, I had to grab like an incense that's huge and doesn't fit in the, sorry. Oh, let me grab a different one. There we go. Okay. So, let's get this going. And we will sage a little bit to kind of cleanse the area, cleanse the cards. Go open the window. And it's raining. Oh, God. Toy block. Sorry. My 3-year-old left a toy block in my floor, apparently. I didn't know that this was down there. Anyway. And it's raining. It's beautiful. Beautiful night. Beautiful rainy night. Okay. So, what you want to make sure that you do when you cleanse with sage, Palo Santo. I think I said that right. I hope I said that right. You can cleanse with, there's a lot of different things you can cleanse with. Oregano. I've heard of people cleansing with oregano, hibiscus, all kinds, rose petals, all kinds of stuff. But when you cleanse, make sure you open a window or a door so the energy can get out and it's not just running around your house in circles. Okay? And make sure you cleanse as often as you brush your teeth. Cleansing energies should be something that you do as often as cleansing your teeth and your ass. Okay? That's part of it. When you do this kind of stuff, you absorb energies, you transmute energies, you change energies around, and you absorb and release them in your area. And when other energies come in your area, when strangers come and visit your home, or negative people come and visit your home, when positive people come and visit your home, I don't give a fuck. Whatever reason, you should cleanse your energy as often as you clean your ass. Okay? It's the same difference. Spiritually, your ass gets dirty. Your spiritual ass gets dirty too. Wash it. Okay? It's important. Ooh, all right. Balance our energies and see what kind of reading we get out through the cards for community and family, for you guys. Okay. Okay. Let me see.